Good morning, and welcome to the shared space on YouTube. Welcome to our channel. So, I have just some things to share. I hope you enjoy this background. This is a very peaceful, tranquil place. You can find decades worth of understanding by just sitting still, surrounded by green and next to water for a few hours. So, the other night, I should say, as I laid in bed, just allowing my thoughts to clear, I do this thing where I don't try to identify my thoughts at night so that I can go to bed in ease. Well, I was just allowing my thoughts to clear and let my head and body sink into my bed and relax. And I don't have notifications for YouTube on my phone. And this isn't the first time that this happened. I see my phone light up on the nightstand. And I ask myself, is it worth it to get up and go get it? And something inside me told me, yeah, I don't know why it would light up this late at night. I had Do Not Disturb turned on. There was no reason for it to turn on. And there it was, a notification. Loki has chosen you. Now, this caught my interest because Loki is not a very talked about energy. So I had to listen. I thought, okay, here comes the truth. Here comes the truth. And to my surprise, it was true. It was very true. And in the best way possible. It was the message of like, are you ready for this? Because you asked for clarity, but you didn't ask how you got it. And I'm like, okay, here we go. Well, the reader was channeling Loki. I can tell too, because knowing the spirit of Loki, you can see when it's coming through. And it was on a very positive note. You've been working too hard internally. A lot of people mistake that if you're not working extremely hard in the physical, that you're not doing nothing internal. But it's for you to just know what you're doing. So when I heard this, it's like, are you living or are you living in cages? Why are you shackled and eating off the floor when I've presented a meal for you, a full turkey, and freedom? And so the message continued on, and I'm like, my goodness, man. Yeah, like the loop, the cycle, the need to do just hasn't been weighing, it hasn't been feeling right for about a year now. The rest of the message was, you keep looking, listening, not looking, but rather allowing anything outside yourself tell you what's right or wrong, what's good or bad, what's healed or not, what's toxic, what's healthy. In the last week or so, I've been looking within for those answers. Meditation. Not like looking within, just finally saying, you know what? Everything external that I hear is already something that I've studied, had epiphanies on, and I'm just not satisfied with that. Why? So this past week, I've just been meditating, going within, coming home and literally not having any noise, just laying in the comfort of my bed at the end of my day and fully feeling my body. Learning how to turn Do Not Disturb on your phone so that it's not constantly dragging my attention. This was a big thing for me. I always felt bad if I didn't respond to somebody when they messaged me, like I was making them feel unseen or unheard, when that just wasn't the case. So I said to myself, well, if this is really a message from Loki, tomorrow in the morning, when I wake up and I pull from my Viking Oracle, he will be the first card that comes out. And I'll be damned. The first card that came out, Loki, bring more fun and laughter into a situation. Laughter is a huge gift. Someone may not be who they seem. It's time to develop clear speech and play more often. You have been taking things way too seriously. And he came with the card, the Halls. Your honor and courage are rewarded, and you will receive rewards for your work. Be brave even when you are afraid. And this card, the Halls, is like an invitation into the halls of the gods. Or, let's take that down to physical reality understanding. A time in your life when you can finally see that you're completely healed. So I said, wow, this is interesting. First card, right out of the shuffle, came jumping out with the Halls. Loki. Aho, thank you. So I asked myself, well, what do I do for fun? What's fun to me? And over here in this little area of nature, things like this are fun to me. Going and just walking until you find that right spot. Sitting down and just tapping out, watching the water flow by. At one point, I caught myself humming a song in my mind, or out loud. It's an old Native American song that I heard about 30 years ago, and I haven't heard it since, called Go My Son. And when I realized, wow, I'm humming this song after having hearing it for 30 years, I look down and there's colorful dragonflies on my knees and shoes and hands. I look up and all surrounding me is birds in stillness, just sitting there. Hummingbirds, little sparrows, birds I can't identify, I don't know what they are, just sitting there. And even though I was sitting on top of a pile of fire ants, not one of them was bothering me or biting me, just sitting in peace. And so when I was out at this place, the first thing I noticed when I was in one location is I'm sitting very comfortably watching the water. And a man comes walking up, asking me if I was fishing. And he walked up and we started a conversation. Here you can tell someone who may have had many, many different challenges in life, covered in tattoos. I could tell where he's come from. And he was telling me how he recently got out of prison, and these are the things. This is like what he wants to see now. He's like, my God, it feels so good to be free. And I looked in this man's eyes and I saw the childlike wonder of life and joy and happiness. And I thought of Loki, because Loki was imprisoned. So to be free from that was kind of like Loki's message to me, like, you've been trapped in chains of your own constriction for far too long. Look, being free is wonderful. Upon talking with this man, we shared similar stories. I told him about my back injuries and mental breakdown because of it, and how the only thing that made sense afterwards was to walk, and how before I couldn't walk without, number one, prescriptions, or number two, walking devices, or absolutely not being able to walk. And he said, I can't believe you just said that. That's exactly what happened to me. And I had to learn how to walk again. I had to learn how to talk and think rationally again. And you're right. The only thing that was the cure was walking. It saved my life, he said. And I thought, wow, the similarities in this world. So, along with that message, after sitting here in peace, noticing the dragonflies, all different colors like Skittles, and the birds and the calm water, and how I had finally just sunk into my body, I started to realize that we do only constrain ourselves. Another message from Loki is everything that you've ever been hurt or felt wronged about, or felt unfair, or felt was just total chaos, you put your hand in that dragon's mouth. And most of the time we do it out of misunderstanding that we're putting our hand in the dragon's mouth because we need to, or because we want whatever that dragon possesses, whether it be fame or money or status or reputation. We do everything to ourselves that causes us to need to heal later. So we have played the part in every role we suffer. And depending on the situation, what we're kind of entranced to believe is that to be busy is to be healed, to be endlessly pursuing the next thing, or more success, more this, more that, sell this, everything for sale or hire, buy, collect, add more stuff, run. These are all distracting us from the truth. And the truth isn't this miserable never ending torturing ourselves for all of our shadows and flaws. We'll go through that cycle until we realize something. This is us. In all of our greatness and all of our pathetic, the hero, the villain, the lover, the simp, everything that is you is you. Some of us walk slower than others. Some of us feel our best on the go. Athletes, triathlons, things of this matter. But healing ourselves actually does not mean to be busy, hustling. Success is the cure. Doing this drug is the answer. Healing looks like in society like the busyness of distraction. But to me, healing meant accepting myself. The villain, the child, the hero, the coward, the wounded and the healer. Accepting that there is nothing I can do to change who I am, and that there was never anything wrong with the person I am to begin with. We weren't born with the glories and flaws that we carry. There are levels of learning in this school of life. Healing actually is completely accepting everything. Accepting that there is loss in your life. And it's a part of your life, but not dwelling on it and allowing it to, just allowing the process of the feelings to come through. Not trying to run and distract ourselves from that feeling when it arises. The more and more we chase after things to not sit and just embrace the body, the further along the line we put off actually accepting yourself as is. Some people are meant to live a calmer, peaceful, tranquil life. Some people are meant to pursue the acrobats of the world. Some people are to write songs. Some people are to make art. Some people are to understand higher education. And time again, what I find with most people in search of healing is they're really in search of being like someone else instead of sitting right down with who they are, dirty laundry or naked as can be, and saying, this is the body I was born with. This is who I am. And there's nothing I can do to change who I am except for to embrace that all that was seen as toxic or negative or low or wounded was a part of ourselves that we sold to please other people. For me, healing looked like sitting the hell down and saying, I fucking can't breathe if I'm always chasing and running after so many things. In the process of running from here to there, the notifications dinging non-stop, they're never ending. If I don't drop everything and run to another's need, then I'm a terrible human being. That is terrible. To me, my healing came from saying, fuck it, like it or hate it, I can't pursue more than I can handle. And on top of that, I don't want to pursue anything more than is enjoyable in life. So when we seek healing, we're attempting to be what the outer world is telling us to be. Or what it's not always telling. It's like that power of suggestion and stuff, right? Subtle little influences pasted on the wall of your matrix reality to influence your decision one way or the other. And before long, we've become lost in it. That was a message that this man told me also. To be lost in the world is to forget how peaceful it is to sit by a stream. And I just said, yes, thank you. I find myself saying thank you to so many things. The dragonflies and the birds, the river, the trees, the sky, the air, the morning when I wake in my own bed, to the one piece of a sacred gem that I find in nature that I decide would feel good to carry with me for the time being. Thank you is like the greatest offering that I can give, because I've learned so much throughout life. I used to fight with the fact that I was an empath because I thought, there's no way, how arrogant of me to believe that other people's inner energy could make me feel this way. But I can remember as far back as I can remember, always wondering what was wrong with me. Why was I more slower and calmer and wanted to like play in the forest more or ride my skateboard in a wash, just calmly, not performing tricks, just to feel the breeze as I went down a hill, or to ride my bike to a high place and just sit there. Just sit there. And as far back as I can remember as a child, I remember exhausting myself to play sports that I really didn't want to. It's not that I hate the word lazy, because I see anyone calling a person lazy as really just projecting of their own insecurities. But I walked in a different manner than the children around me growing up. And understanding what an empath really is to understand that we've carried the torch of our lineage as many lifetimes as there has been human beings. And my family was very outdoorsy. Fishing, nature, hiking, camping, hunting, tracking. So when you're grown up and raised very nature, you inherit the animalistic senses. You learn to sense when you can feel an animal in the presence, right, or in the area, vicinity. You can hear for long distances across the forest or the valleys or the meadows or the streams, lakes, rivers. Calmness is innate within you. Sitting by a fire with fishing poles in the water, the sound of the water lapping upon the shore is the meditation, the calmness. Connected to nature is just something that I'm so grateful for, that I had a family to bring me into union with. And it was because of this innate connection to nature and calmness. You can't catch fish if you're out there trying to make them put the hook in their mouth. You can only catch them when you put the hook out there and allow the fish to bite or not, and go home with the reward of whether you caught nothing or caught the most or the biggest fish out there. The reward was in that moment. And for me, my everything, my drug problem, my breakdowns, my toxicity, my obsessive behavior from the past was me trying to outrun that calm boy sitting by the lake by the fire. I was trying to outrun that person because it didn't appear to me that calm little boy sitting by the water next to a fire with his fishing pole out in the water, staring at the stars, was the answer. That's the medicine. That's the cure. And to keep up with society, I needed drugs when I was younger because, for one, it just tuned out the brain. For two, it gave me the energy. Although, to look back now, I must have looked like such a destroyed mess. But in the moment, I felt that I had the energy to keep up. I had the linguistics to converse. When silence was all that was needed. Not a silence that is cold and distant and doesn't accept anything, but that kind of silence when you're with your true friend and you're like, after like, hey, how was your day and this and that, you can both just sit there by the fire and stare at the water and stars and fucking be completely satisfied with each other's company. Who needs to outrun that? And it makes so much sense that when we try to outrun that, the only possible way is to intoxicate the body, to numb out the pain of running away from who we really are. So Loki comes with a lot of wisdom, clear-minded, wise action, communication. Remind you that it's not what everything in the world is telling you it is. That did you know that simply being could be a crime in another's eyes simply because they cannot be? The messages I'm getting today are: be a creator of your own abundance. What does abundance look like to you? The treasure could take many forms, But unless you're sitting with yourself, you'll never find the value in any of it. The simplest things have the most powerful beauty in them because they operate from harmony. Tranquility is the energy that embodies a healed individual. Surrendering that there is no darkness in you, but yet decorated flowers and life that has become you over your time here. This is how you learn to define yourself with all of it. Sometimes the best medicine is just learning that you cannot be anything but who you are. And if that doesn't sit well, then you might be sitting at the wrong tables. Being connected to this diverse spirit union universal web can be an amazing thing. Or, if you let it, it can trap you in a spider's web to be sacrificed and eaten, consumed. Have you ever seen a spider eat their prey? Not wrap them up, but once they go to eat it, they stick their fangs in and suck the life out of the carcass. So, you can... For me, this came from learning to say, when I have free time, that doesn't mean that it is your me time. And I learned this by understanding that when you're sitting still, just out of default, the world around you thinks that you should be doing something, and if you're not going to, do something for me. But the world doesn't allow rest because they're confused. I mean, it's available, but the current mind state is to not allow one to be comfortable in their own skin. To call one lazy for taking a day off and just sitting by the lake. Or to just sit and enjoy your own space with no music, no cell phone, no running, chasing next event to the next party, to the next event, to the next, until you're back into the work cycle. So you get what I'm saying? If it's not, and remember, you put your hand in these things, so all that this means is that you've allowed the exterior world to define how you truly feel in life. And all you have to do is pull yourself back out and say, you know what, I once gave my time and energy to this, but now I take it back because this is not what I need. We don't need to be at service of everyone who knocks at the door, but rather appreciate our time and live as our true self. This is the elixir of life. To play the beginner's mind in the maze is to be at ease in the dance of life, fun and laughter, instead of obsessively agreeing when you don't see the fun and laughter in that moment. So let's pull some cards before I end this off. We've got about 10 minutes left. Loki, let's see what the further message is in this. Ooh. I see you're laying solid foundations. You're overcoming something that has long been a past version of yourself and walking into the new you. Completing chapters in life is well deserved in your situation. It's okay to move into the unknown right now. If we let go of expectations and embrace what is, this is to live life. Expectations will constantly be keeping you in the energy of searching for something new when you're holding the treasure within. Right there. Look within. It can be hard to look within. The stubborn nature of reality doesn't see the blessing in it because there's so much focus on the loss. It's time to turn around and accept the gift of your inner vessel, the truth. Ask yourself, how do I really feel? What really makes me happy? What's fun for me? This will help you release the burdens of 1,000 characters that you play. Going back to Loki with Shapeshifter. He may change forms in a playful manner, or he may change forms as needed, but not on demand. What I see is looking at the loss has had you putting on costumes that others have picked out for you. It's time to take those off, strip yourself down to your core being, and accept the gift of purifying yourself within. What is, who am I within? And not what label am I, but this, what makes me feel myself. Okay. A change in alignment is bringing in hope where you thought there was none. This comes with stepping back. Once you step back, you actually can focus on what you're good at just by doing it. At one point, things that have been really resonant for me are doing things that I love doing them just because I love doing them, not because I need to sell them or I need to perform, which actually puts my craft in a production assembly line type of feeling, and that's not good at all. To me, it pollutes the purity in whatever craft I enjoy. Being in love for love's sake, not because I don't want to be alone, or because a love defines me as a normal person in reality. No, loving for the pure act of loving, freedom, no control, not trying to change any individual for who they are, but yet just being in awe, inspiration of who they are. So, there's an alignment coming within. So take a moment to retreat and look over you as a whole. And start creating from there. What do you enjoy doing? Does painting feel good to you? Does singing feel good to you? Or is it a costume you're trying to win American Idol with? Either way, it's still, a journey is a journey. Either way you go is fine. These are just words of suggestion. Does this feel good? Or am I trying to be the next American Idol? Ask yourself this. only in the meaning, in the understanding and awareness of, if it is something that you're trying to win by performance, put some distance in between you and that obsession to find who you truly are, what really feels good, what makes you happy to be free and alive in this world. Release yourself from the prison of being lost in the world. Okay. There's a new passionate spark creating a union here, a healing union of mutual reciprocity coming into your. And this actually relieves a lot of stress and anxiety. The worry and depression that keeps you up at night is gonna go away with this spark of, let's just say, a healing connection and relationship. This could be within yourself, this could be with another, this could be the relationship you're in. This spark ignites a mutual understanding of each other and relieves all the stress and anxiety. You're being guided by the Divine Mother. The Divine Mother always guides in peace and understanding with clarity. To be your true self, you must first learn to not favor the small opinions of those around you. And in finding this inner strength, charisma, and a total acceptance of oneself, you complete this repetitive loop. You strip yourself down completely naked and embody that. This is the body I carry. There's not much I can do to change the anatomy of it. There are things I can do to keep it in good condition. But even still, if that exceeds my level of comfort and happiness, it's a choice. To be free in your unclothed self is to know that anything that makes you aggravated is not worth the energy. Healing is not doing, it is being. And loving the fact that you are being. Healing is taking the power away from others who believe they have secrets on you and embodying them. Yeah, and once you own every shadow, flaw, toxicity, victim, hero, God, child, person, once you just own all of these things that you are, you take the weapons away from anyone and you take control back of your own life, because there is nothing that can be said or done that can harm you or spiral you back down into a evolving loop, never-ending loop of healing and suffering, trying to be like the world says you should. So I hope you enjoyed this today. If you liked, hit the like button. If this message meant something to you, share it with a friend and subscribe. And I'll see you next time.